What's going on, family? Hope you guys are doing well today. We have a lot going on in our country, and I do believe that we need to start talking about it, start praying about it, start seeking God's face for the direction of what we need to be doing. So, as you can see in the title, there are ICE raids going on. There's a protest going on called No Kings, which is coming from a generalized statement. It's a generalized statement that they're saying Donald Trump made. Protests against that. There are bombings happening between Iran and Israel. A lot of tension going on there. And just a lot of civil unrest in our country today. And so I just wanted to come and talk a little bit about it and just kind of share my thoughts and my opinions about how we as people, as Christians, need to be positioned in this battle. So, the ICE raids, right? If you're unfamiliar with ICE, that's immigration control. ICE, ICE is an acronym for immigration control. And basically, what's going on is in California, immigration has been ordered to seize people from other countries who are undocumented to be here in the United States, meaning that they are here illegally. And with these raids, they are separating families. They are pulling mothers, fathers, children, whoever that are here undocumented, pulling them away and sending them back to their country. And so there have been a lot of raids going on, and there is some protests going on in California. And President Trump had ordered about 2,000 National Guard troops in California to help protect the ICE building. Basically, the ICE building, ICE is a federal government. They work for the government, and Donald Trump ordered the troops to protect that building in California, along with sending about 700 Marines down to California. Now, obviously, the Marines cannot do much of anything, being that they handle federal crimes, being the federal government. And so as long as civilians are not touching federal crimes, that then defers to the police department. But basically, it's the idea of the flex, right? The flexing. We have 2,000 guards there, National Guards there, along with 700 Marines that are stationed there in California. And so that's what's going on there with these ICE raids, because people are protesting that you're pulling people away from their families. You're breaking people's families up. And although, yes, we have a very big history of undocumented immigrants here in the United States who are not here legally, the way that we're going by about doing it is what has a lot of Americans in uproar. Then we go to the No King protests. That's also going on. A lot of protests are still going on, right? No King protest that's also going on now about a statement that people are saying Donald Trump made about being a king, and then him explaining that he's not a king, and if kings have the ability to do certain things and he does not have that ability, and people are protesting against this statement because of some of his actions or tactics that seem to be in a monarchy or a dictatorship or kingship, I guess you could say, rulership, saying that he is not a king and he should not be making decisions or acting as such. California, their governor, actually, I believe, is trying to sue the president right now for mobilizing the National Guard without the governor's consent, and actually sending the National Guard in California without him signing off on it. So that's the No King protests. That's those ICE raids. And then now we are left with this Iran Israel battle that we are now involved in to try and help Israel, with Iran shooting, just as of recently, a couple days ago, 300 missiles down to Israel. There is a protective dome over Israel that intercepts a lot of these missiles so that they don't hit. But that's still going on. So where does that leave us today? Where does that leave us as a community, us as a nation, us as people who are concerned when we hear all of these things happening? That leaves us, one, a lot of people are fearful. A lot of people don't know what to do. People are trying to fly out of the country, and some of that is being held up. You now have to have a real ID in order to fly certain aspects. Some countries are off limits for you to fly to. You're being restricted, right? Stay put, stay where you are. You can't fly, you can't travel. A lot of people are uneasy. A lot of people, they don't know what to think about our country, about our nation, about our leadership. This is not the first time that we've been through this. Just a couple of years ago, during 2020, Black Lives Matter. 2020, 2021, just a few years ago, we had the same kind of civil unrest, actions that are made that cause uproar and unrest with people in our nation. To me, it's not about what party you are affiliated with, whether you're Democratic or Republican. I could care less about it, because that's not really what this is about. To me, this is about moral. It's about right and wrong. It's about standard. It's about how to do things. We have big problems that we don't truly know how to solve, that our leaders are making the decisions to solve in a very aggressive way. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of things that decisions have been made on, I'm not saying that all of those have been terrible, right? Some of the tariffs and things that have been placed, I do believe, could be beneficial, because there are a lot of countries that have been kind of getting over on the United States when it comes to economics, e-commerce, things like that. So some of these things I like. Bringing jobs back to America, right? Bringing factories, bringing things, right? Us creating and making things and leading the world, right? As we could, as Americans. But then there are some other things, right, that really come into play. Some of the main things, right, that we have to discuss, which is the moral actions that we are taking towards people, right? Just want to make sure that my phone isn't getting too hot. Okay, we're doing good. These are the things that we're ultimately talking about, the moral actions. So a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are confused by why we're doing it. And ultimately, just like old times, people are afraid that America will go to war, or that we would have another 9/11. People are afraid of that. People are afraid of countries attacking us because of us getting involved or us doing something that is pissing off leaders in other countries. That's simply put. That's basically what it boils down to. What actions are we taking that involves other countries, that takes a stance or makes a stance to say, you know what, we're not doing that no more, or you're going to do this, or whatever the case is, and what laws are being put in place on those. We're scared of those. Most of the people who volunteer to sign up that say that we need to have these things are also not ones who are volunteering to sign up for war. These are not people who are ready for war. These are not people who will volunteer for war. These are not people who understand the grand scheme of how to solve difficult problems and make difficult decisions. So how do we handle it as American people, as Christians, as minorities, for those of you who are a minority? How do we handle all of this information? I'm not a president. You're not a president. We're not politicians. We're not senators. We're not representatives. Some of us, majority of us, I would say, at least in certain generations, barely go vote, barely go to their local county meetings to see the news that's going on in their counties and things and impact, let alone understand what's going on a national scale or macro scale. Many of us don't even do the micro. So where does that leave us? What should we do? One, we should be praying. We should be praying. We have to remember Ephesians 6:12. It is not flesh and blood that we fight. Our enemies are not flesh and blood. Our enemies are these spirits and principalities in high places. That's what we fight. We are fighting against spirits. We are fighting against evilness. It really boils down to the main human concept about good and evil, right and wrong, yin and yang. That's what we fight against. And so because we're in that fight and we understand that there will be evilness in this world, we understand that you will have the Esau's of the world that try to kill you. You will have the Cain and Abel, right? The brother killing the brother. You will have a lot of that. It makes us forget exactly what we were called to do. This has been going on since the beginning of time, this good and evil. So it's important for us to know the true battle of what we are fighting. It doesn't matter how many people we protect ourselves against. It does not matter how many wars we are involved in and how many lives that are taken in the name of justice or in the name of this or that. None of that matters if you don't know the true enemy that you are fighting. None of that matters. We have to understand the true enemy. Who is the true enemy that you are fighting? You are fighting these spirits, this evilness, and this influence that Satan has over the world. There is a lot of spiritual attacks that attack people every day. And these same spiritual attacks are going on in Iran. They're going on in Israel. They were going on in Iraq, Vietnam, Afghanistan, a lot of these countries over in the Middle East. But these same spiritual attacks were going on in Spain when they came to try to conquer and enslave African people and Native American people. These same evil tactics were not just Spain, but in the United Kingdom. They were going on there as well. These same evil tactics were going on in Rome. They were going on in Egypt. They were going on in Greece. These same evil tactics around people to enslave people, to bend people according to power. Nothing that has happened, nothing that is happening now has not already happened before. Just a different face. We need to pray. Pray for your leaders. Pray for our country here in America. Pray that we begin to turn things around. We really do need to pray. Don't spend all of your time worrying about things that you can't control. What good would it do if you knew all the ins and outs about what's going on with the war? What good would it do if you knew every single protest that was going on? What good would it do? Some of these movements that are starting as it relates to these protests are movements that are all about profit. Please keep that in mind. Not all of these movements are genuine. Not every organization that someone starts as a fire starter on the back end from something that is going on in our society is one that is of the cause. Some of these organizations are just here to make money off the basis of civil unrest and social anxiety. They're here to make money. Oh, let me start an organization that goes against the man, that'll stick it to the government, that'll stick it to the decision, right? Let me rally some people so I can start selling some merchandise, start selling some t-shirts. Now we got No Kings t-shirts, No King protest t-shirts. Come buy your t-shirts, $20, and let's march for the No Kings, right? Again, not saying that it's not legit, but there are many organizations that are not out there for whatever the cause is. Be careful. Be careful. Be for justice. Be what's right. Defend the faith. Share the gospel. And be watchful of our enemy, the devil. Be watchful of the evilness, of the unrest, of the people who are here to stir strife and controversy and all of these things. These are all distractions to distract you from the purpose and the race that you are running that is at hand, the race and the purpose that God has called you for. These are all distractions. People want to distract you. You got protests over here. You got ICE over here pulling people away from their families. And then you got the BET Awards. Let's look at rappers win awards for rapping and their lyrics have nothing to do with me, or their lyrics have nothing to do with something that's going to actually help me, right? Help our cause, whatever your cause is. Let's pay attention to the BET Awards, right? Pay attention to the propaganda and the things that are being used. It's all a distraction to keep you away from the truth and sharing the truth and living your life free. Stock market goes up, stock market goes down. When the stock market crashes, people freak out. When America is in war, people freak out. When these social anxieties and this unrest comes to the light, people freak out. People freak out in America. People freak out. I truly believe that in America, we deal with the most generalized anxiety and panic disorder cases compared to probably any other country in the world. I feel like most of us here have the most panic attacks and anxiety attacks than anywhere else in the world. I could be wrong, because we could be a third world country where we are suffering in poverty. But even in poverty, you still have some people who are grateful, who are still not dealing with stress and worry, even in poverty. All I'm saying is be educated, pray without ceasing, and remember who the real enemy is. Remember who you are going up against. I'm not, so when people do come to you about these debates, right, about is it Iran or is it Israel and what happened and what's the details and all that kind of stuff, stay focused. Stay focused. You know what the average person thinks about when we think macro? And again, nothing against macro. We do need to be informed. But here's what the average person would normally think about. You got all this stuff that's happening with the United States and what we're doing. Obviously, we got our president, Donald Trump, that's included in many different things. Even if I gave you all the facts, right? We could sit here and talk on this live and I can give you all the facts about everything that happened and everything that's currently going on right now and all this news, right? Here's your reality. After you get done with this live video, after I give you all of these facts, which I could, after you get done with this, you're going to go to the next video. You're going to eat dinner. You're going to go to sleep. You're going to wake up tomorrow, Lord willing. You're going to go to school or work. Well, you ain't going to school. It's summer. You're going to go to work, or you're just going to wake up and scroll on your phone, and your life is going to move on. That's what's going to happen. Is it? That's literally what's going to happen. Most people are thinking about today. Today has enough problems of its own. It's real hard for people to start thinking about Israel when they trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills tomorrow. You got people right now trying to figure out how they're going to get their car fixed. My car is jacked up. That's what's on most people's mind. What am I going to eat tomorrow? Maybe you about to be homeless. Maybe you about to lose your job. Maybe you got written up and you nervous. That's what's on your mind. Maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe your children don't want to talk to you. You're trying to figure out. Maybe you're going through some relationship issues. These are the things that are on your mind. Nothing against Israel. Nothing against the Iran and Israel battle and what's going on over there and our soldiers sending our soldiers over there. Nothing against that. Nothing against ICE, right? Nothing against that, right? But most people, a lot of people aren't dealing with that. What most people are thinking about is the matters that will help them financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, to grow, to get out of the situation. Most people would spend more time regarding these matters if they didn't have to think about putting gas in their car. Or if they didn't have to think about where they were going to sleep. Your rent's still up. Your rent is still high. I guarantee it. Your rent is high. Eggs are probably still $8. Gas is probably still $2.70 depending on where you live. Might be $3, might be $4. Gas is still high. You still got a car note. You still got bills you got to pay. You still got to get up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work. You still got 4 children, 5 children, 3 children. You still have these things. And that's really what it boils down to. Stay focused. Stay focused. Don't let what is going on in our society create the civil unrest within your heart to where you start to ponder on the macro. Instead, pray for our leaders that they will make the decisions so that we can live peaceful lives. Pray for our leaders so we can live peaceful lives, one to which the world can be proud of. Of course, America has history. Of course, us who are citizens of America, who were born here, raised here, we know what that history looks like. We could talk about American history all day long and the secrets and the this and the that and all that kind of stuff. Every country has secrets. I guarantee you don't know the ins and outs of Guyana. I guarantee it. I guarantee you don't know the ins and outs of Sri Lanka and the history and the unrest of the people or whatever. Some of us don't even know about apartheid and the background about apartheid over in South Africa. A lot of us don't, right? But yet we know everything with America and how much debt we're in and how we're in trouble and this and that. Stop worrying about all that. Live your life now. Stay focused right now. Go to work now. When it comes to you, then you'll be prepared to handle it. Today has enough troubles of its own. Think about today. Don't worry about tomorrow and what tomorrow brings. The Bible clearly tells us that God knows everything that you have need of. And God knows the struggles and troubles of this world. Trust me, no matter how much evil that does go on, God is still in control. And one day, this world will be judged. And those who make these decisions will be judged. Whether in this life or in the next life, they will be judged. So, I hope this helps you. I really do. I pray that as you begin to do your research about all these things that are going on that I just mentioned earlier today, that it leads you to pray. That it leads you to give your cares to God, to stop thinking about it, live your life, live in peace, Go in peace and be grateful for today. Because today, you're here, you're free. Freedom of speech. You are protected. And you got enough troubles in your own environment, let alone thinking about Israelis or Iranians or Ukrainians. We have enough right here where we at. Focus on you. Hope that helps. Appreciate you for tuning in and joining me. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Let me know that you liked the video. If you dislike the video and you just like, hey, I don't care to talk about none of this stuff, hit the dislike button. That's cool with me. It helps me either way to understand you and what you would want to see. Also, share the video if you find this helpful for someone who needs to hear this message. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can get more videos just like these. I appreciate you for tuning in. As always, I pray nothing but blessings and peace and love and joy over your life as you continue to walk with me on this Christian journey. And I'll talk to you next time.